And now, we've come to the portion of our show where we have to ask, what just happened? We can't believe it either, but let's take a look back at the insanity that was this week and look ahead to what will make us facepalm next week. This is What Just Happened on the Dean Obeidallah Show. Take it away, Dean.
And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show live Friday, April 19th. Now, another brown person and a white guy in studio. We're going to take some calls as well. Nida Khan is back, journalist.
Is that how we're going to be introed?
Brown and white. That's
and
it.
white.
Ebony, and you're going to sing the Stevie Wonder Episcopal show, the Saturday Night Live version.
Which one am I?
I know. Who's who?
Nida Khan is back, journalist, really good person. And sitting,
thank you.
And sitting next to her is Kevin Dombrowski. He's back. Very funny comedian. Tours around, opens for Carlos Mencia. And who are you opening? Lenny Clark.
Yeah. I was just with Lenny Clark.
Funny, he's a legend of comedy.
I love him. Oh my God, the two of us just had such a good time being old white men together. It
You're
really
like
was
30. I mean, he's an older white man.
Reminiscing about the good old days is all that we did.
The good old days.
Did you seriously about his old days?
Yeah. No, we sat and talked shop for a while. He's a guy that everything was very tight, but he's definitely like a cigar guy that we would just like sit back, have a couple cigars, and just like talk shit. He's a good dude.
It's awesome.
I remember specials and things he was in 20 whatever years ago, and really funny and so much personality. He was from the Boston group of comics, right?
Yeah.
So it was him. Was Leary with him?
So Leary was younger than him,
right? Leary is younger.
And Lenny kind of gave him his first shot,
okay,
which he did with like Roseanne, and like there's like a whole slew of people that he gave like their first shot to, and so Leary kind of always had his back because Lenny gave him his first big break, took him on the road. When Leary hit, he was basically like, you could watch like documentary, like Lenny was like his right hand man, and Leary's like super current in his life, and they're really good friends and stuff like that, but yeah, I think they do Comics Come Home every year.
That's where I saw him. Comics Come Home in Boston.
Yeah. He's just, you know what, man? He's such a solid, like old school, just funny dude. Like Dom Herrera. Like when you watch Dom, you're like, God, that's a stand-up comic. Right. You know what I mean? It's just, they're both white.
Look, buddy,
they're just super traditional. They're super traditional. I like that you're so out of breath because you were trying to get on Hulu.
I was talking about it. I know Rami.
You almost missed the whole commercial break.
We were actually going to open the show for you.
You
could have take over.
No, I was talking around. Rami started in the Arab American Comedy Festival. He started before that, but he started in the festival that I produced with Maysoon, like 10 years ago. He's a 19-year-old guy.
I think he performed in the one you recently
The Brown
did,
Show.
right?
He's done the Brown Shows forever. So I've known him for a long time.
He was funny.
So I remember when he got this deal with Hulu and said we're doing the pilot, and they sat around for 4 months. They had no response. I'm like, that's not a good sign. I don't want to say anything. Then they picked it up, and you got to see the reviews. It came out today. Unbelievable.
Oh, it looks great.
New York Times, Washington Post, Entertainment Weekly, Variety, everything. He got on Metacritic. It's getting a 90%.
Wow,
that's like off the charts. I'm not
Good
kidding.
for
It's going to
him.
win like an Emmy.
Yeah.
Like it's off the charts.
You know what it is?
That's awesome.
It's super relevant. It's super needed. And
sort of like my show. It's like the Hulu version of my radio show.
Yeah. Let's just see us take call for 3 hours. Anyone can do that.
Right.
No, what it is? You know what it is? It's And I'm not comparing comedy styles or whatever, but it's Amy Schumer a couple years ago. Amy Schumer was a very, very needed voice in comedy. Mm-hmm. She hit big. It seems like he's capitalizing on a very, very needed voice within comedy, and he's a funny dude. My wife and I were watching TV, and we saw the commercial, and she literally went, oh, that seems like a really funny show. And I was like, I think I know that guy.
Well, he's been around New York now for years doing comedy. Not a long time, but years.
But that's just so funny with comedy. It's like you saw us walk into the studio and we were both like, hey, I think we know each other. And I was like,
I feel so left out of this like comedy love. I got to start, I don't know.
I
got to pick up, sure.
You could be unique. You would stand out.
Yeah, right. They would be like, boo, get off the stage. No. You're not funny.
Well, look at Nina. I mean, okay, so Nina started
Caroline's tonight.
She started taking my hosting class on Monday. This is how the comedy industry works. Monday, she took her first hosting class that I teach. Friday, 4
my God, I
days
love
later,
it.
she's opening for Ahmed at Caroline. So you should
That's
start
awesome.
tonight.
That's not a real sales pitch thing. But going backwards, she hosted my show before she took the Brown show.
That's
before
right,
she
she
took
did.
your class.
I know.
Just like a few weeks ago, and did a good job. So I'm proud of all the brown people taking over because it's all the goal. The goal is Sharia law.
Right.
Enjoy it, America.
God.
No matter what you do,
I
you
have
can't
to read
fight
up
it.
on that.
Turkey bacon. You like turkey bacon?
I do like turkey
You're
bacon.
gonna love it.
See,
You're gonna be
he's
fine.
already halfway there.
You'll be
Already halfway
protected.
there.
Yeah, I count calories and virgins. So it's I feel like
And
I'll
that's
fit
it.
right.
Shut off his microphone. That's really ridiculous.
Oh God.
All right, let's talk about everything that people want to talk about tonight, which is we had so many calls, and then we had some guests, and we're going to integrate some calls into this about Robert Mueller's report, which is, of course, and the reaction. Not even going through the Mueller report in detail, but like what should the Democrats do now is the big debate we've been having since last night and today. So, I mean, I'm sure, Kevin, you probably read every page of the 400-page report. That's what you do.
480.
Every
Isn't it
single
484?
It is, wow,
Yeah.
with appendix.
Right.
So with the appendix in.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, let me ask you the big question. Do you think it matters for most Americans what's in that report? Or their minds, everyone's baked into their brain already?
See, that's a tough question because you say most Americans. That's the reason that he got in is because of the majority of, his supporters are the middle of the country. And, I know that it was the electoral, but it's such a weighted question to say most Americans because it depends on where you are. You know what I mean?
I just wonder in the hyper-partisan world we live in, does the report matter? Not the findings. I think that Congress, my view, they should have hearings, but I'm just wondering if we don't see anything movement in public opinion polls at all.
I think he's bulletproof at this point, and not in a good way. I just think that we're so shocked by everything that nothing like he just said windmills give us cancer, and everyone was just like, yeah, that checks out.
Not for
you know,
us. But he's bulletproof for his base. Like his base
correct.
won't go anywhere, and that's fine. They can stay with him forever. Nothing.
Right. But it's also about who shapes the narrative, right? So unfortunately, they, preempted everything by doing their press conference before this was even released because they knew exactly what they were doing, and they know they're the masters of actually shaping narrative. So by Barr doing that presser, by even before then saying there was no collusion. I mean, even for weeks and months, Trump would just come up straight up to reporters and be like, no collusion. So it's like they already
No
put
collusion.
that right.
Yep.
That's how he would literally greet the press corps. No collusion.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Yesterday, for an hour and a half, maybe they had this little window. But today, and I played these clips. I'm going to play, Lauren. This is on Fox News today. Here first is Judge Napolitano, and who's a big Foxer, and clip number 7.
The report lists 11 instances in which the president attempted to have others attempt to interfere with the investigation of his own campaign. Depending on how you look at them, it might be enough to prosecute. But it did show a venal, amoral, deceptive Donald Trump instructing his aides to lie and willing to help them do so. That's not good in the President of the United States. But there's a lot in there that should be troubling to Americans about the President of the United States.
When Fox News has this, and there's more people, I won't
a
play
very
it,
strong word.
but Chris Wallace as well today. And all of a sudden, the media narrative they want, it unravels because you can't control a media narrative. You can control it for a little window,
but sorry not to cut you off. But
Okay.
the three main people that he even tweeted about, Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, and Hannity, they are still towing the line and still backing him and supporting him. And those are the top sellers, if you want to put it that way, because it's not really a news network anyway. So those are the top sellers at Fox News, at Phone News. So those are the ones that the staunchest supporters always tune into, that like lead the conversation and basically lead a lot of the whatever in the White House too. So that's what I mean by shaping the narrative, right? And my biggest problem always with Democrats is that they cave in so easily, right? So even if they don't plan on going through with impeachment or whatever, they still need to act as if they are and still show a fight, because that's what the base wants. They want them to hold him accountable.
Two-thirds of Democrats in a recent poll want
exactly.
impeachment.
So it's like at
Two-thirds.
least attempt to show some sort of fight. Whereas, you had like Pelosi and everybody already coming out even before the report dropped saying, well, I don't think we're going to really do impeachment. And, that doesn't help. That does not help your side and doesn't help your base.
Kevin's wearing a MAGA hat, so why don't you tell us your point of view? He's not.
It's so wrong.
It's actually the opposite. It's a San Francisco hat.
All right, fair enough. It's a Pelosi hat. You're right. That's where Nancy Pelosi's from.
First off, I love the wind tunnel in that sound effect. The
it's
sound
weird.
bite.
He did it outside.
Well,
It's right
like,
up here.
It sounds like they're packing up Fox News as he's speaking outside
They were
of it.
escorting him out halfway through his soundbite. Like, that's awful. Get the hell out. Like, they pushed him out the door. Now he's in the street. He's still talking.
Yeah, he basically said, "This is the worst thing to happen to me." He slumped in his chair and said, "I'm fucked," and then the wind just took him away. Man, I don't know. It could go either way. I think everything is
what
just
should Democrats do? What do you think Democrats should do now? Fight? Say impeachment tomorrow. We want impeachment hearings now, or let's have other hearings, or let's move on and focus on 2020.
Okay, I think that they should put their efforts into 2020 because if they don't, he's going to get reelected. And that's the more important issue rather than get him out now and then, Pence is up.
Can't they do both? Like, not necessarily get him out now, but at least act like they're holding him accountable and fighting for their side and still pushing for the issues for 2020. That's what I think.
Yes, but I am afraid that they won't put enough effort into 2020. I just felt like the areas that they put effort into 2016 were misguided. And it ended in. I feel like the Democrats gave him the election. I do. I don't feel like he took it.
We didn't have the turnout in certain.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I feel like everything could be way more proactive in terms of okay, flat out, this happened in 2017, and he said this is the end of my presidential run. 2 years later, he's still in office. I think at this point, let's put the effort towards what are we going to do to combat him so that this doesn't reoccur within 2020.
I agree that in 2016, so it sort of ties into what I'm saying now, that the Democrats ignored a big swath of their base in 2016 of young people, what their issues were, what they wanted, and what the progressives wanted. And I feel like if they don't, I don't want to say, play to that base, but that's what it is. If they don't do that, if they don't reach out to them effectively and show that they're fighting and are on their side and, going hard like Republicans go hard, they're going to once again be disaffected and disillusioned and maybe sit out, and be like, why do we keep supporting you? You don't do anything.
Let me read to you something Mitt Romney wrote that I thought, I won't read all of it. It was a poem he sent to me earlier today. It was
Does it also have wind from his yacht when he recorded this?
This was, it's not a clip, it's an actual statement. At 3:30 this afternoon, he slammed Trump in no uncertain terms. But there was a point here that I think he made, Democrats don't make, and I think they should make. But you're the focus group for this line. I'm being sincere. This is really thing. First, he talks about Trump. He's sickened and dishonesty and misdirection. We all know about Trump's dishonesty. But this was the interesting part. He said that the people working on the campaign for Trump welcome help from Russia, including information that had been illegally obtained, and none of them acted to inform American law enforcement. And I think that's kind of interesting, where we know that Trump is accepting the WikiLeaks help, knowing it with the time public sourcing was from Russia hacked. It was ill-gotten gains. And even though they knew in advance WikiLeaks was going to drop things, that's what even the Mueller report says, no one told law enforcement. And when Donald Trump Jr. got an email, I'm going to get dirt from Russia, he meets with them right blocks from where we are right here. No one tells law enforcement. Just forget politics for a second. Do you think that's an effective argument? I kind of like that line, but I'm not sure.
The Mitt Romney one?
Yeah, Romney's saying, but to use this as Democrats going, this guy, he may not have committed a crime with the Russians, but he knew he was getting illegal help, and he never went to the authorities at all. He was happy to accept stolen goods to try to win an election.
Yeah, I mean, they can totally that and many, many other things.
No, I'm asking about this specific thing. Stay on this one. Damn it! I'm trying to get you to focus on this.
But once again, it's about how they put it out there and how forcefully they double down. Like, just imagine for a second.
I'm not joking with you. You're my focus group. Do you think honestly?
Okay, yes.
I'm not trying to badger either. I'm trying to. But I'm honestly want to know, because sometimes I could be wrong. This happens. I'm not above being wrong. I thought that was a compelling line, and the Democrats' arsenal of points Kevin, what do you think? Because you're not a political, you follow politics, but you're not like left, right. You're sort of in the middle. So what do you think?
First off, I'd like to say it's lovely seeing you fight someone other than a Caucasian in the studio. So that felt
We're not
great.
fighting. I'm trying to get
this is
Your
brown
Honor.
love,
Have the
brown
witness
love.
answer the question. If I was all the time in the courtroom, like Your Honor, go ahead.
Right. Give me the question one more time.
The question is, is this an effective line? Do you think this can reach people in the middle, in those uncertain? The idea, as Romney put here, that the people in the campaign accepted for help from Russia, including information they knew had been illegally obtained, and none of them acted to inform American law enforcement.
Yes, that helps everyone in the middle because that's a dude that's also on that side, kind of throwing him under the bus. You know, like it's one thing for a Republican to say, I don't agree with the things he's saying, but they still kind of support the agenda. But it's a completely different thing for him to go, look, he knew about it and he didn't go to the cop. Like, you're just disowning him at this point. Like, it completely helps the other side.
See, that's a better line. He knew about it and he didn't go to the cops. Keep it simple, keep it short. Boom, there you go. And if they
Trump
use that, we will give you credit, Kevin.
That's a very New York thing for me to say. You knew better. You didn't do anything, Jimmy.
But that's part of the problem, too. Democrats don't know how to message properly. They need to keep it
So how would they
small.
message? What do you think the message should be?
That could be an argument. And any argument they make, like, oh, we're not going to impeach him, but he's a liar, he's a cheat, he's whatever. Like, just keep it short, simple, few words,
Liar,
and just
cheat.
keep doubling down on it, tripling down on it. Like, just imagine for a second if the tables were turned and this was a Democratic president.
Any other president.
How would they respond? Even when, just look at Republicans. Even when they are in the wrong, they still stick to their playbook. They still stick to the talking points. They double, triple, quadruple, whatever you want to say it down. And that's what Democrats really need to learn how to do. That's all. Keep it simple, like bumper sticker messages, and that's it.
I just think any other president at any other time on any other side would have gotten a world of shit, but it's Donald Trump. And everyone is just like, it's Donald Trump.
It really is. It's crazy.
I've never seen anyone say such outlandish shit, and people go, yeah, but it's him.
Right.
It's insane on both sides.
Liz Warren had a tweet today around 4 o'clock. She broke from the pack of Democrats.
Are you guys on nickname basis?
Liz Warren, I just interviewed her last week. We were in New Hampshire.
You did. That was really
I had a
good.
sit-down interview with Liz Warren, actually. I don't think she remembers my name, but she was very nice. She had a really great point. Forget politics for a second here. She made a great point about that to ignore Trump's efforts to obstruct an investigation would inflict great and lasting damage on this country. And it would suggest that both current and future presidents would be able to abuse their power in similar ways. Meaning, if you don't stand up now to Trump, you're telling every president in the future, you can do exactly.
Right.
And what you're getting at, Kevin, is this is so beyond the norm. But I don't think anyone wants to see this again. I don't even think people on the right want to see this again.
I agree.
You want to go back to some normalcy, right? And so she makes a great point that if you don't have hearings and if you don't impeachment, she says to impeachment, if you don't at least try that, you're telling everyone who runs for office in the future, you win and you could be a king.
That's fair.
Right.
Fair point.
And I think that's a really good point by Liz Warren. I thought that was a really effective argument point.
Yeah, you know what? I looked at you like you said that for a second. I was like, damn, that's a good point.
Wasn't me. Liz Warren calls in the House. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll take some calls, all right? We'll take some calls before we shift gears. 866-997-4740. If you got a question for Nitha Khan, for me, Dino Bidala, or the white friend, Kevin Dombrowski, we're all here. But no, there are people on hold from before. And 866-997-4740. Be right back.
The Dean Ovidala Show.
Whoever's the next president, we should call them the 45th president of the United States. And this will go down as a dark time in America that we'll never refer to again.
SiriusXM Progress. You're listening to What Just Happened with everyone's favorite host, Dean Obidala.
And welcome back, Dean Obidala Show. We're live Friday, April 19th, one day plus the Mueller report. I'm joined with Nida Khan and Kevin Dombrowski. It's our weekly segment, What Just Happened. Obviously, the Mueller report is what really happened. So we're going to take a call or two before we switch topics. Let's talk to, here's Steve from California. Steve, how are you tonight?
I'm great, Dean. I love your show.
Thanks, brother.
I just want to say, as a voter and a Democrat, I think it's not a reach to begin to impeach.
Now.
I'm serious. I don't know what else this guy can do, man. I mean, this guy just, we waited 2 years for the Mueller report and spent all that money, and now we're talking about, let's wait some more. I mean, we just got to take our lumps and of course get out and vote in 2020. But I think we should begin at least hearings and more investigations or something.
Your last name's not Cochran, is it, Steve?
Why?
I like that rhyme. It's not a reach to begin to impeach.
I was going to say that's another great slogan.
That's
it's not a reach to impeach.
I don't know if Steve you meant that, but that's an excellent line.
Yeah.
So, Steve, in your view, the Democrats can't do this old school idea of like, let's just forget about it and move on and focus on 2020, which Democrats love to do that garbage. It's got to be keep the fight to him. That's your view.
Yeah, keep the fight, man. I mean, what have we been waiting for? 22 months. $20 million. What have we been waiting for? I know we're not going to remove him from office, but still, man. I mean, let's find out what the truth is.
Keep pissing him off.
Redacted report.
Right. He hates these investigations. So if we keep doing investigations, it angers him.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Exactly.
Nida,
and
what do you guys think?
Totally agree. You got to hold their feet to the fire, and I'm gonna steal that line. Gotta wait. Say it again. Say it again. I'm already messing it up. It's not a reach to impeach. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a reach to begin impeach. I think.
Hey, happy holidays.
You too.
Oh, you too.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
What holiday is it?
Tonight
Easter.
is
Easter.
Easter.
Well, it's the first night of Passover
and Passover,
and
yes.
Sunday, of course.
I love how the Muslims
Jesus.
are answering.
Yeah, no.
we're like it's Easter and Passover.
Well, he was from where you guys are from, so
And Jesus comes back Sunday, which
right,
is kind of big.
Annually.
Yes, theoretically. It's gonna. All right, let's take another call on this. It's an interesting topic. Sean from California. How are you, Sean?
Hey, Dean, I'm actually doing really well.
Excellent.
The evidence keeps dripping out. And, regarding this report,
right.
which, I have not read, and I'm talking about the unredacted report.
Oh, the unredacted report. I read the redacted one. Almost every page.
I'm sorry.
I'm not even kidding.
Did you really already?
So,
Yesterday I spent like 5 hours.
No.
Ugh.
So the redacted report, I'm still working on it. But you know what I found out so far?
What?
All I hear are Russians. I haven't heard any Swedish names. I haven't heard any, like English names.
No ISIS names. Damn. No.
I was like Russia and more Russia. But, this is a thing, though, I have to tell you. I was watching MSNBC, and they must have changed the Chiron person. I call it a ticker, but it's a Chiron, right? The underscore during Chris Matthews, because it said the Trump campaign had a relationship of mutual benefit, quote, unquote, and it had Mueller report above it. I'm like, damn, finally, they actually put, and I haven't got to that page yet. So I'm telling everyone.
It said here, I can read you that line because it's such a big line from the report, and everyone cited it. It says the investigation established that the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome, and that the Trump campaign expected it would benefit electorally from information stolen and released through Russian efforts. So you had them so happy to help each other because Russia saw an upside to Trump, and Trump saw an upside to using the stolen data that WikiLeaks had that had been hacked by the Russians. And that's what I just read you is word for word in Robert Mueller's report.
Well, my goodness. Well, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that would be called collusion.
It's pretty close, my friend. It's really close. What happened is Robert Mueller's report makes great detail of all the relationships between the Russians and Trump, including Donald Trump Jr. meeting at Trump Tower, not too many blocks from where we are right now, to Donald Trump knowing in advance about WikiLeaks dumps and telling Rick Gates, deputy campaign manager, hey, there's WikiLeaks about the dump stuff. Like he knew things in advance. So that's why Mitt Romney said they knew what was going on and they didn't even tell the police. They didn't go to the, how do you put it, Kevin? I like the way you put it. Cops? They knew bad things were going on?
Yeah. I forget what it is.
Kevin,
You knew something
yeah,
was happening. You didn't call the
You
cops.
didn't do everything that was going on like that. You know what I'm saying? All right,
You look left,
so
you look right, you didn't call nobody.
Sean, go
Yes.
to the section in the volume 2. I'm not kidding. The best part to me that really is damning to Trump is he talks about Michael Cohen and witness tampering, Robert Mueller near the end. And it's clearly all the elements of obstruction of justice and witness tampering laid out by Robert Mueller. And any other person, I had Danny Savalas on a short time ago, the MSNBC legal analyst, any other person but Trump is charged with a felony for witness tampering. There's
I
no
have to
doubt he
tell
did
you,
witness tampering.
remember, too, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just remember that I think you can do an impeachment inquiry, I think is the first start. I think that's where we can actually get the unredacted report into the intel of the House of Representatives. And then you just start piling on. And I would love for our Democratic Party members to start hammering them on national security because the Republicans are quislings, okay? All they've done is protect the Moscow moron who obviously now knows with his guilty conscience he's been working to win an election with not our adversary. Sorry, I'm going to say it the way it is. Our enemy, because they attacked our most fundamental thing is our elections, democracy. And I know the two planes that hit the buildings and also hit the Pentagon and the one that went down in a field, horrible, awful, and I am still angry about that. Republicans, remember, George W. Bush never followed anything. He didn't do anything after he was given a PDB that bin Laden was determined to attack. So I know it's Friday and I don't want to be too serious, but you know what? Keep holding Republicans to account because Mitt Romney also threw away hard drives when he was in Massachusetts. So I never take anything he says too serious.
Well, didn't also Clinton got threats that he needed to move out of the Holy Land, and he also ignored that too. So it did
absolutely. That
also went to the Democratic side as well. That was
how dare you be biased on this show, Kevin? This is Friday. We're on the Progress Channel. All right, Sean. Thanks for the call, my friend. Nice chatting to you. And Sean's going to see early in the report. It is jaw-dropping. I took a screen grab and shared it with everyone. The detail of Robert Mueller, how the Russian military unit, GRU, attacked the Hillary campaign over and over and over, like getting the emails. And the whole goal was to help elect Trump and to hurt Hillary Clinton. And to read about it, it's heartbreaking to anyone out there who, like myself, supported Hillary Clinton, to think that in an election that's so close that it ended up being 77,000 votes in 3 key states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, that tipped the election. I can't quantify how many votes were changed by this Russian military attack on our election, but it's not a stretch to say 77,000 weren't changed.
Well,
I just don't know
course.
the answer.
But to be fair, she also should have gone to those states as well.
But
Right? I mean, it's both. It's both. I'm not saying that negates
how
any
dare
of this.
you on
how
a
dare,
Friday.
right?
On a Friday. On Good Friday. You ruined Good Friday. Renaming Good Friday's mediocre day.
But, that's
not the hashtag loser day.
It was the perfect storm. So it was like all of those elements combined into create the perfect, horrible storm that we are now
I'll
in.
also tell you that based off my Facebook fan page engagement from my subscribers to what I get engaged on a boosted post, 77,000 is not out of reach, my friend.
To change
an election. Also, I like how you have everyone call in that have rhyme schemes. Is this like the Stern Show?
It's great.
You just got your writers in the back. They call in as characters.
I wish I had writers. Are you kidding me?
But
I am the head writer, the junior writer, the staff writer. I'm
the senior writer. But you see, they all want to fight predominantly. That's what
yesterday we had a little bit more
debate.
debate among Democrats. Our friend Becky called and a few others called, and we're a little bit more like, let's not do hearings, let's not do impeachment, let's focus on 2020 on our message and a positive message for Americans on policy. And there was a debate back and forth between listeners. Today, overwhelmingly, hearings, some saying they should call it impeachment hearings now, and others saying you can have some hearings, then you have the impeachment hearings. Impeachment is just indictment. I mean, the trial is in the Senate.
Right.
And if the standard for an indictment is probable cause, Robert Mueller's laid out the crimes that Donald Trump, at least on a level of probable cause, has committed.
Right.
So you have the impeachment.
Right.
So you have a trial in the
He's
Senate.
basically punted it to Congress.
and
Go ahead and
all right, let's take another
do what
break.
you gotta do.
We'll come back and chat with our friends Nida and Kevin right after this.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
Voting is the most important civil right of our era because the right to vote preserves all other rights. It's not the Second Amendment. It's not guns. It's voting.
Sirius XM Progress. listening to What Just Happened with everyone's favorite host, Dino Bidala.
And welcome back, Dino Bidala Show. We're here with Nithakon and comedian Kevin Dombrowski. So let's talk about something else we learned from the report, the Mueller report, which is just entertaining for us. It's nothing news, but it's entertaining that Sarah Huckabee Sanders, or as I call her, Sarah Suckabee, got caught lying.
Oh, breaking news.
You should hire a writer.
That's funny. So I'm going to say so now. So that she got caught lying in the report, and what happened was, Trump had claimed that everyone in the FBI hated James Comey when he fired him. She said numerous times at press conferences, countless members of the FBI contacted her to say they had lost confidence in Comey. Well, under oath, talking to Robert Mueller, she changed her tune because she was under oath and could not. She knew that was a lie. And here is today, this is great, George Stephanopoulos grilling her on Good Morning America. It's like out of nowhere because he starts with the first question that had nothing to do with it, and then bang! So here's clip number 5. It's a little long. It's like a minute and a half, guy.
What the report also does is expose a culture of lying at the White House, the president lying, telling others to lie, and it calls your personal credibility into question as well. We showed that clip from your May 10th press conference where you said it was a slip of the tongue when you talked about countless FBI members, yet you repeated it twice the very next day. Here's one of them.
I mean, really? Like, really? So are we talking
between like email, text messages? Absolutely,
50?
yes.
60, 70?
We're not gonna get into a numbers game.
That's not a slip of the tongue, Sarah. That's a deliberate false statement.
I said, actually, if you look at what I said the slip of the tongue was in using the word countless, but there were a number of FBI, both former and current, that agreed with the president's decision. And they've continued to speak out and say that and send notice to the White House of that agreement with the president's decision. James Comey was a disgraced leaker and used authorization to spy on the Trump campaign.
I've got to stop you there because you said something else to the special counsel.
George.
Sarah, hold on a second. The special counsel writes that those comments were not founded on anything. That's what you talked to the special counsel about when you were facing criminal penalties if you didn't tell the truth, but now you're trying to walk away from it. Why can't you acknowledge that what you said then was not true?
I said that the word I used, countless, and I also said
what I love in the whole thing
the long pause.
are the pauses.
Yes.
Like, and you're a liar. And it's like, okay, I work for Trump. This is what we do. So she defended her lie, which she told. What I love, Stephanopoulos called that. It wasn't once. It was 2 more times the next day. Called it a slip of the tongue, and she should be fired. Any other administration, she has zero credibility before. Remember last year at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the comedian
Michelle Wolf
called her a liar and was attacked for that.
What did she say? Smoky. She makes her smoky eyes from the lie. What I forgot whatever she said. It was much more eloquent than what I just said.
And it was funny. I was at that,
and it was hilarious. And they vilified that poor woman.
Michelle Wolf was 100%
and the White
right.
House Correspondents Association apologized basically to
the
White House, and they're not having.
this
So
year.
it's next Saturday.
Kevin Dombrowski. I'm going.
There's no comedian, which is
I will be
atrocious.
there. So again, there's no comedian.
Boom. Maybe you could just run up on stage and
I
be
know
like,
the
you know what?
president.
We got this.
The president of the White House Correspondents Association has a show on Sirius XM. He's been on my show several times, and I said to him,
What's his name again?
Olivier Knox.
Okay.
And I said, can I just tell a few jokes? I'm like, let me tell 2. And they're like,
I love how, by the way, that tape of George and Sarah sounded exactly like a fight that my wife and I had.
Tell me why.
Well, it sounds like, well, why would you say that if you didn't mean that? And it was going back and forth. I love that he pulled clips in front of her and then played it and just watched her sit in it. I'm actually going to use that tactic the next time I get into a fight. I'm going to pull a clip. I'm going to borrow Matt. And the next time I get in a fight with my wife, I'm going to go, why did you say this if you didn't say this? Actually, Matt, 1-5, please.
What was great is Stephanopoulos didn't begin with that. He started with other questions, so she got lulled into like, this is a really nice interview.
He rope-a-doped her.
That's the way to do it.
Play the clip. And then, nope, Sarah, I got to stop you again.
Yeah. And she was
she
was like, the slip was countless, so meaning it was like 1 or 0 because that's...
Well, she doubled down after that.
I know,
she tried to double down again. She was like, I did get calls and emails and texts from
Which means she probably got 1 or 0.
Trump
That's the number.
sent a fake email. Like, it's I'm talking to all the FBI people, #they're all losers. I wonder, if you watched her, it looked like she really just was thinking of a way to leave. Like, literally
I'm
just
sure
like
she was.
walk
I'm
off
sure
the
she
set,
was.
like,
I mean, her
I
entire
gotta go.
job is to lie. And by the way,
But she does lie. She has no defense for it.
When was the last time we had a press briefing? I can't even remember.
They have them sometimes at the driveway, but they don't have real ones anymore. They literally
they
don't. They
don't.
have them at the
They
bottom
don't.
of the steps, and she talks to people a little bit.
Yeah, but that's also like she's trying to leave constantly. That's nothing out of the ordinary. When she's like, how they were like, how many people have reached out? She went, several. Next question.
Countless. More than 70. I love the reports like 60, 70, trying to get her to say a number. I'm not going to give you a number.
That really is.
You're going to know I'm lying, so
like-
I'm not going to give you a number.
Like what a dick reference to 60? Is it 70? Is it 80?
No, but that's something you say to a child that you know is lying. Like,
Right.
Okay, so there's other parts of this report showing that Trump asked people who worked for him to essentially obstruct justice, and they ignored him, which is remarkable.
That's awesome.
Like Corin Lewandowski, Don McGahn, a lesser guy as well, but Don
Even
McGahn
like
especially.
Chris Christie. But they did
didn't
it to save their own ass,
but,
basically.
No, but the people really work for him. Have you ever had a boss that asked you to do something like lie or do something truly immoral?
Do you count as my boss
No,
right now?
I don't.
Okay, I just wanted to...
No, thankfully, I don't. No, I haven't.
Would you lie for a boss? They say it's a good job. Say it's a really good job, and the boss says, just tell them this lie. But it's not like a little white lie. It's something important. But you're going to lie.
Probably not, because I'm
But not
an
definitely
annoying
not.
principled woman. So yeah,
Probably not though.
Yeah,
Depending how much money, how much vacation.
No,
is
my
involved.
soul cannot be bought. I cannot.
Kevin, who can
cannot
clearly
be bought.
Kevin would lie just for fun.
Comedian. I lie about everything. No,
I just broke up with my girlfriend like 9 years ago.
Yeah. Thank God I'm not that hacky. I don't have anything.
You know how many
that's
times I
not
say to
current.
audiences, like when things have really happened, I go, folks, this just happened. I go, I know what you're thinking. I'm a comedian. I'm like, no, really, I swear to you, it just happened. Like I'm telling them, because there are times I say things.
Well, they catch on to the
5 years
pattern.
ago.
Right.
But I'm like, this really, I'm like, this really happened. And I even tell them, like, this might not even be funny.
Yeah.
And they're like, why?
Well, that's most of your stuff that you
Exactly.
say.
You're a jerk. So have you ever had a boss though to ask you to do things that were just immoral?
Lie, yes, but like immoral, I would not do.
Yeah.
If
But
it
lying
was,
is not immoral to you.
It depends on what it's
Ooh,
for.
attorney.
Honestly, it depends on what it's for. If it's okay, like back in the days when I was waiting tables, if it
Those
was
kind
like,
of lies.
yes, like yesterday when I was waiting
Did someone
tables.
pee in the soup? Just tell them no.
right,
Just say
right.
no.
If they ask if the salmon's old and they say no, just tell them no. I mean, look, if it's not going to break the law, if it's not going to
They're
hurt
not going to get sick
someone,
for 24 to
they're not gonna
48
get
hours.
sick.
They're not going to get sick there.
Right.
It's going to have to take time to incubate.
If it
so.
wouldn't end with Mitt Romney going, you knew something and you didn't call the cops, then I wouldn't
There
do
you go.
that.
That's your Romney impression. I'm a guy from Staten Island. Meanwhile, Mitt Romney's like a guy's only
That's
been on a
actually
yacht.
that's like the most white way to say if you see something, say something. You knew something and you didn't call the cops.
It's something like if Tony Soprano, like if Gandolfino was still alive. All right.
Have you ever had a boss tell you to lie? What about you?
You know, when I was a lawyer,
Yes.
I'm sure.
I've had clients who wanted me to lie, and look, when you're a lawyer, it's not lying when you're trying to advocate for a client, but you can never do it. But you can't do it to a judge.
Right.
That's a difference. You can tell another lawyer things like, no, my client is blah, 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 whatever it is to try to get some more money or to settle for lower. But I would never tell a judge. I would never say anything under oath, not just for myself, but you could get this barred as a lawyer. It would just be absolutely wrong. So little things in negotiation, yeah, I get people say things a little hyperbolically. That's different. But I've never had a real lie about something important. So, all right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll play Guess Who Said It right here on the Dino Bidala Show right after this. You're listening to the Dino Bidala Show, where we crush Trump's lies every single day.
On Sirius XM Progress 127.
Your entire week's exhausting news broken down in one hilarious hour. What Just Happened is now live with Dean Obeidallah.
And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. We're live Friday, April 19th. So, my friends, I'm here with Kevin Dombrowski, comedian, Nida Khan, journalist. And we're going to play
What a hilarious hour this has been.
It's been a lot
that
of fun.
That intro was spot on.
Informational.
Let me put it this way. This is the funniest hour of the entire week on this show.
That's right.
And now it's time for the game.
Now, it's time for America's newest game show sensation.
Guess who said it?
And welcome, I'm Wink Martindale. Welcome to Guess Who Said It. And we're going to give actual quotes from the week and give you 4 people. And Nida and Kevin are going to fight. Only one can survive. Only one lives through this game. There'll only be one winner when this is done. Here we go. I would have to say, reading this report, that there's a lot of stuff in here that's damaging to the president, politically embarrassing to the president. Was that James Comey, Nancy Pelosi, Fox News' Chris Wallace, or Bernie Sanders?
Chris Wallace.
Nancy Pelosi.
Right. Wrong. One for the Muslim girl. Yeah. Here we go.
I can't agree with her.
Okay, here we go. Another one. We're accepting apologies today for anyone who feels the grace in offering them. There was no collusion. Sarah Huckabee, Kellyanne Conway, Donald Trump Jr., Sean Hannity.
Oh, that's Junior.
I think it is Junior too. Or
You can't go one or the other.
All right,
They're
Sanders?
both wrong. Kellyanne Conway.
I hadn't heard from her in a while. That's
yeah,
why.
me either.
This was going to be a little tough for you too, right here. Here we go.
Oh,
the
boy.
president doesn't support anyone telling lies. Let's be crystal clear on that. A person in a mental institution. B, Sarah Huckabee. C, Kellyanne Conway. D, Jay Sekulow.
Sekulow.
Sarah Sanders.
Sekulow. Right. You're 2
Boom.
to 0.
I'm doing
You got
horrible
nil.
this time.
Nil. It's like the
To be
Premier
fair,
League.
anytime
Nil.
I've won this is just because I've guessed C for everything.
The president, the behavior of the president is immoral, deceptive, repellent, but doesn't rise to the level of criminality. Bill Barr, Mueller, Giuliani, Napolitano.
Giuliani.
Wait, read it again.
The president, the behavior of the president is immoral, deceptive, and repellent, but it does not rise to the level of criminality. Bill Barr, Robert Mueller, Rudy Giuliani, Andrew Napolitano.
Mueller.
I'm going to change to the last one.
Napolitano?
Yeah.
Got it right! 2 to 1! Last one, it's 2 to 1. Kevin could tie it
2
here.
to 1. Oh, there's one more
There's
question.
one more,
Oh,
and Nida,
snap.
this is it. This is the one here.
I
That,
don't know why I said Mueller for that one. That was a stupid answer.
This is it. Here we go.
Okay.
Here is a tweet to Laura Ingraham. Corny monster, there were 1 million other ways to try and take me down. And this is what you choose? Fuck you.
Oh.
Who wrote this? Hillary Clinton, Ilhan Omar, Chrissy Teigen, Kim Kardashian.
Teigen.
Chrissy Teigen.
Oh, you both got
it. Boom.
That was a close race, though. That was I enjoyed that one. That was 3
to 2. What
3
do I
to
get?
2.
What's my
3 to
prize?
2.
And the prizes are
cashews
we've
and
got
almonds.
cashews,
Yeah.
we've got pretzels over here, we have
I
some
already had
chocolate
M&Ms.
chips.
I like that you get the white chocolate for me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's like I still joke about Jeff Sessions because he was
Listen,
the
we have
racist.
a
Forrest-
rainbow of colors, the
We do.
M&Ms. There you go. That's what it's all about.
Jeff Sessions was the racist Forrest Gump. He's like, life is like a box of white chocolates. Nothing could be chocolate. All right, so let's talk about Pete Buttigieg, who is beloved darling now of the left, and I like him too. I'm not saying I'm supporting anyone, but I think he's an impressive guy. He came out and actually said this week the idea of potentially mandatory public service for people out of high school. I'll read what he said. He said, because he liked his time in the military, and he told Rachel Maddow this week, it'll put people from different politics, different generations, different racially and regionally together, and we can make it, if not legally obligatory, then certainly a social norm that anybody after 18 spends a year in national service. So he's not saying mandatory, but he's close. John Delaney, another 2020 Democrat, I moderated a town hall in New Hampshire last weekend, came out on Sunday with an idea of after high school inducing people to do some national public service. And his reasoning was very similar. The idea that in America we are so divided that perhaps something like this unites us, that everyone has to go to a year after high school. By choice, he said in the view of Delaney, his program was if you go to it, you can get money towards college. But just in general, the idea of us doing things outside of our normal world might be a good idea. We are a horribly divided country.
We are, but I don't know about, I mean, as long as it's not mandatory. I have an issue with the whole mandatory aspect of it because you're giving up your time, your, livelihood, your whatever, and you're handing it over basically to the government. And then it's not, like
Well, it's not military, though. There are options.
But
you're military, could be a year.
But you're
Peace
still
Corps.
but that already exists, right? Like if you want to join the Peace Corps, if you want to join whatever entity.
You don't think you should be obligated,
So, no, because, and it's also a slippery slope then towards something else, like military.
Something scary?
Like military or draft or whatever. Like I just have issues with that. That's why with the mandatory aspect.
I think there should
voluntary
be
fine.
I think there should be mandatory community service. That's what I think it should be. Let's set the American minds on the jobs that we're more likely to have than being military people.
Community service, doing something for your community.
Yes.
You're serious.
Yes. I was joking, but now I'm serious.
So that
was quick.
A year of stand-up,
the
a year of
fact that
stand-up
you didn't
comedy?
laugh makes me serious.
Would stand-up comedy be community service?
No, that's obstruction of justice. That's what that is.
But what if a candidate for 2020 said, I think there should be a mandatory 1 year after high school?
Look at the NCAA. It doesn't work. You can't do a one and done. Just let people go to the pros. Let them go to the pros. Let them go out of high school. You can't make someone do something.
All right, Kevin, look, we're winding down now, thankfully. And this is the longest hour of my life.
What did you say, winding down?
Whining.
You mean the best hour?
Whining, not winning. So, no, I enjoy this very much. So where can people follow you? Kevin is a comic, and check him out. He's in New York. He's touring all over the country. Where can people follow you, Kevin?
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Kevin Dombrowski. KevinDombrowski.com has all my tour dates. I'm home for a couple months. I'm editing my album. That should be out soon. So I'm writing some new stuff. So you want people to
come by and visit you at home?
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, where is this going?
Yeah. I'm home. I'm in a geriatric home right now. I'm in a wheelchair.
300 East 57th Street, apartment 12.
Yeah.
Just knock on the door.
Have you
Tell
followed
Steve
me?
I sent you.
No, I'm working on new material, building a new hour. So come out and see me. Let's have some
so
fun
much
together.
more detail than we needed.
So I will keep mine short and simple. Pretty much you can follow me on Twitter. It's NidaKhan, NY, NIDAKHANNY, and I will tweet out whatever I'm doing, any articles.
That was way longer than mine for the record.
I'm at Dino Bidal. I want to wish everyone a happy Easter, happy Passover
Yes.
this weekend. Look forward to chatting with you on Monday. Tomorrow I'm going to be on Reverend Al Sharpton's show. So if you're around near MSNBC at 5 p.m. tomorrow, you can see me on Reverend Al's show.
Why don't you call him by his nickname, like Lizzie Warren?
His name's Reverend Al.
Rev
My
Al?
buddy.
Just
Rev Run?
the Rev.
Rev Al. And on Facebook.com/Dean of Radio or Dean at DeanofRadio.com. Nitha, Kevin, thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
Matt, Lauren, thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone. Talk to you Monday.